Scene 29, shot 1, take 1.
Right.
Yeah, so Chris and I have now, you just saw Chris, worked on 4 projects, and yeah, it's just like amazing to like meet someone that you trust. Like I think before I met him, I was like really particular about shots and storyboarding everything because I just had a very particular vision. And I think when you meet someone like Tessa, like Gordy, like Chris, that you just understand like so well and you've worked with several times, like none of that's necessary. It really like cuts out all the hard work because you trust them and you're all stylistically on the same page, and it makes such a difference to just be able to like improvise on set with what we want to shoot and we're totally in agreement.
Let's do that.
Would that make sense?
Yep.
The story? Someone cut there.
I mean, it's pretty low, but why not?
Let's have a look at
Let's
that.
see, let's frame that.
So Gordoun, Soundo, Tess, production designer, Lexee, director. We've done a few now of these, and we just understand each other, and we have a good shorthand now where there's a really good understanding and a good vibe. And when it gets difficult, you know we can deal with it as a team and sort it out.
The opening scene was really interesting. Chris and I actually spoke about it quite a lot. There's always a vintage car. I love vintage cars. And we decided it had to be in the opening scene. And how do we make a car move? Like we couldn't shut down a street and we couldn't get all the shots we wanted, and the consistency would be difficult, and it was just a nightmare.
The most challenging scene for me was the opening scene, and that was the Simtrav, what we call Simtrav. It's like simulated travel, and basically the 4 of them in a cab at night. That's how we introduce all the characters, so it was always a very important scene, and I've never actually seen anyone do Simtrav very well in the past.
So we went through a few different conversations and options, and we said, what if we get a screen behind and we go past somewhere like the Rocks that has all this heritage sites?
We thought, oh, maybe if we drive down, some of the older neighborhoods in Sydney, we could get those plates. But after giving it thought, I realized that that wasn't going to work. As soon as you see a traffic light, it just gives away you're not in the 1940s or 1939 where it's meant to be. So my gaffer and we put our heads together and said, why don't we try projection? So during COVID, I started experimenting with visual effects and things. So yeah, just kind of built a little town in Blender, which is a free software, 3D software, and we had 6 cameras inside the scene that was basically going around and around the city block. So you got all your angles covered. So you got your straight down, your completely side on, and your 45 degrees. So 3 cameras on each side, so 6 cameras, and just rendered that scene out on a loop.
He almost recorded it and changed the lens we were shooting on, and he grabbed a snippet of it and recorded it and then projected it onto the back of this like white sheet that we'd hired, and that's how we got the car movement. So we practiced with his friend Arman like a week before, and we tried everything, and finally we got it to a stage that we were happy with. So when we got to set, moved a little bit quicker.
And I had a guy on Yash on a laptop, and basically he was controlling contrast and all these things. And also I would say, okay, it's the left camera, 45 degrees, and it would be ready to go. But then obviously you need a huge squad of people to make this kind of scene happen. We had 2 guys that I called the car wigglers.
We bought shovels, like 2 different shovels on either side for the gaff team to like kind of like stick under the wheel and just kind of wiggle a bit so the car rocked and everyone rocked in sync. Like it was really important that they weren't just faking the rock and focused on it, and that they were moving together, and it felt like a really natural movement.
And then we had 3 guys just on lights, and then we had another 1 or 2 people just making sure that we're blacking out the screen so that the light doesn't spill onto the projected image.
And then the poor man's face, the person who owned the car, I can't remember his name, and he just looked so worried. What are they doing to my vintage car?
And in the end, I was really happy with the result, and it came off, but it gave me sleepless nights, basically. I was really worried about that scene.
When we were shooting, we shot half of, not half, but a good portion of the soldier scenes the day before, just because that was going to be an enormous day and we didn't have time to shoot everything and we couldn't extend the day. So it happens with the tight schedule. And so we shot Larissa's scene of her hiding from the soldiers, and we decided we really wanted the shadow of a soldier. So Siobhan got the costumes and we said, we need someone that's got a similar build to David, who's playing Soldier 3. So we found Ryan, who is our gaffer on a lot of the days, and he had a similar build. So we chucked him in the outfit and we got his shadow casted, and you could almost see him through like a smoky glass, which we thought would really work. It was like mosaiced glass. So we thought as long as it's vaguely got the rough body shape and he's wearing the same clothes, there shouldn't be an issue. And when we watched it back, we realized that Ryan had this awesome moustache and David had shaved. Because we needed a shadow, and then when they did, I was like, oh, we saw his mustache, right? So when David came, Clara really just got down and dirty with creating this like thick moustache that would show up on camera but not look too fake, to try and match the shot that we'd grabbed the day before.
Set. Action.
That was a really interesting moment of like, we did not prepare for this, but it's awesome being able to like think on your feet and have like a talented crew to like shift and change and bend backwards is really awesome.
It always, you know, there's always obstacles and problems that come along. So it's just nice having that really tight team when they do come along, that, you know, you can rely on them.